It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, the kind of day that makes you want to run outside and play. The sky was bright blue, not a cloud anywhere, and a soft wind rustled the leaves on the big trees in my neighborhood. Perfect weather for flying my brand new drone. My name's Jake, and I'm 14 years old. I'm the kind of kid who loves gadgets, robots, remote control cars, anything cool like that. But my drone, oh man, it's my favorite. It's small, black, and shiny with four little propellers that buzz like a happy bee when it takes off. I got it for my birthday last month and I couldn't wait to try it out again. I live in a pretty nice place. My neighborhood is chill, with big green yards where dogs chase balls and kids ride bikes. Tall trees line the streets, their branches swaying like they're waving hello. There's a little park nearby with swings and a slide, and sometimes I fly my drone over there to see how high it can go. Most people around here are friendly. Old Mr. Jenkins next door always smiles and asks, "How's that flying machine today, Jake?" Mrs. Carter across the street waves from her porch while she waters her flowers. Even the mailman gives me a thumbs up when he sees me testing my drone. It's a good spot to live, usually. But not everyone's nice. Nope, there's one lady who's different. Her name's Karen Thompson and she lives 3 houses down from me. Everyone calls her HOA Karen behind her back. What's HOA? It's this group that makes rules for our neighborhood, like how short your grass should be or where you can park your car. Karen loves those rules more than anything. She's always yelling at someone about them. "Your grass is too tall," she'll shout at Mr. Lopez. "Move that car, it's in the wrong spot." She'll bark at Mrs. Carter. Once she even told my friend Timmy he was playing too loud in his own yard. Too loud? He was just kicking a soccer ball. Karen's got short, spiky hair and a frown that never goes away. She walks around like she owns the whole street, pointing and complaining. Me? I never thought she'd notice me. I'm just a kid with a drone. Boy, was I wrong. Let me set the scene for you. It's that sunny Saturday and I'm super excited. I grab my drone and my controller, it's this little box with buttons and joysticks, and head to my backyard. Our yard's big enough to play in with soft grass and a wooden fence around it. I set the drone down, turn it on, and smile as the propellers start spinning. Whir whir whir, up it goes, zooming into the air like a tiny spaceship. I tilt the joystick and it flies left, then right, then up high above the fence. I'm grinning like crazy. This is the best. I can see everything through the little camera on the drone. It's like I'm a pilot flying over my own world. The trees look like giant broccoli, the park swings sway in the breeze, and the rooftops stretch out like a map. So cool. Before we go any further, picture this. I'm standing there, barefoot in the grass, my drone buzzing happily above me. The sun's warm on my face and I'm thinking about flying it over to the park next. Maybe I'll film a squirrel running up a tree or a bird flapping its wings. I'm lost in my own fun, not bothering anybody. That's when I hear it, a voice, loud and sharp, cutting through the air like a rusty saw. "Hey you, what do you think you're doing?" My stomach drops. I know that voice, it's her. It's HOA Karen. I turn my head slow, like I'm in a movie and the bad guy just showed up. There she is, stomping across her yard toward mine. She's wearing a bright yellow shirt and flip-flops that slap the ground with every step. Her arms are crossed tight and her eyes are squinted like she's mad at the whole world. My drone's still in the air, humming away, but I feel my hands get sweaty on the controller. What's she mad about this time? I mean, I'm not even near her house. My yard's 3 houses away from hers. There's Mr. Jenkins' place and Mrs. Carter's place between us. How did she even see me? I try to stay cool. Maybe she'll just yell and leave like she does with everyone else. I lower the drone a little, letting it hover above the fence. Hi, Mrs. Thompson, I say, giving her a small wave. My voice sounds shaky even to me. She doesn't wave back. She stops at the edge of my yard, right where our grass meets hers, and points up at my drone. That thing, she yells. You can't fly it here. Her voice is so loud I bet the squirrels in the park can hear her. I blink. What? It's just a toy, I say. I'm not hurting anyone. But Karen doesn't listen. She never does. She takes a big step closer, her flip-flops smacking the ground hard. It's against the rules, she snaps. You're breaking HOA rules, you little troublemaker. Rules? What rule? I don't even know what she's talking about. My drone's not loud, it's quieter than a lawnmower. It's not big, it's smaller than a pizza box. And I'm in my yard, not hers. I open my mouth to say something, but she keeps going. I see you flying that thing all the time. Spying on people, probably. I'm sick of it. Spying me. I almost laugh, but her face is so red and angry I stop myself. She looks like a volcano about to explode. I glance up at my drone, still buzzing in the air. It's not spying on anyone, it's just filming the trees and the sky. I like making little videos to show my friends. I'm not spying, I tell her, trying to sound brave. It's just for fun. But Karen shakes her head, her spiky hair bouncing. Fun? Ha, tell that to the police, she says. The police? My heart starts beating fast. She's not serious, right? She can't call the cops over a drone, can she? That's when my mom steps out. She must have heard the yelling from inside. She's got her gardening gloves on, dirt smudged on her jeans, and a look that says she's tired of this nonsense. Karen, what's going on? Mom asks, walking over to me. Her voice is calm but strong, like she's ready to protect me. Karen turns to her, pointing at the drone again. Your kid's breaking the rules, she shouts. That flying thing is a menace. I'm calling 911 right now. Mom frowns. Jake not doing anything wrong, she says. It's just a toy. Karen, relax. But Karen doesn't relax. Nope. She pulls her phone out of her pocket, waving it like a weapon. We'll see what the cops say about this, she yells, then stomps back toward her house. Her flip-flops slap the ground so loud it echoes. Mom looks at me and sighs. Don't worry, Jake, she says, putting a hand on my shoulder. She's just being dramatic. I nod, but my stomach's still flipping. Dramatic or not, Karen's mad enough to do it. I land my drone in the grass, its propellers slowing down with a soft whir. What if the police really come over a drone? That's crazy. So there I am, standing in my yard, the sun still shining, my drone quiet now. I thought it'd be a fun day, just me and my cool toy. I didn't expect HOA Karen to turn it into a big deal. She's always mad about something, but this time it's me she's after. Why? I'm just a kid. I don't bother anyone. Most people like my drone, they think it's neat, but not Karen. She's got it out for me now, and I don't know why. Stick with me, okay? Because this story's just getting started. Picture me there, a skinny kid in a blue t-shirt, holding my controller, wondering what's gonna happen next. Karen's on her porch now, talking loud into her phone. Is she really calling 911? What's she even telling them? And here's the wild part, something about to happen that she doesn't see coming. Not yet. What's she mad about this time? Oh, you'll see, it's gonna be a ride. So there I was, standing in my backyard, my drone sitting quietly in the grass after I landed it. The sun was still shining, the birds were chirping, and everything seemed normal except it was. Karen Thompson, the grumpy lady everyone calls HOA Karen, was on a mission to ruin my day. She came storming over from her house 3 yards away, moving fast like a thundercloud rolling in. Her arms were crossed tight across her chest, and her face was red, really red, like a big, ripe tomato ready to burst. She stopped right at the edge of my yard and pointed at my drone like it was some kind of scary monster. "You can't fly that thing here," she shouted, her voice loud and sharp. I froze for a second, my hands still holding the controller. My drone wasn't even in the air anymore, it was just sitting there, looking small and harmless. It's just a toy, ma'am," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I'm not hurting anyone. I mean, it's true. It's not like I was throwing rocks or breaking windows. My drone's this little black gadget with propellers no bigger than a lunchbox. I just fly it around to have fun, maybe take some cool videos of the trees or the park nearby." But Karen didn't care about that, not one bit. She took a big step closer, her flip-flops smacking the grass, and got right up in my face. Her eyes were squinty and mean, and she started wagging her finger so close I could feel the air move. "It's against the rules," she yelled. "You're not allowed to fly that thing here, and I won't stand for it." "Rules? What rules?" I didn't even know what she was talking about. My drone's quiet, way quieter than a lawnmower or a barking dog. It doesn't bother anybody. But Karen kept going, her voice getting louder. "I'll call the police," she said, practically spitting the words. "You're spying on people, you little creep." Spying me? I almost laughed, but my stomach was twisting too much. "I'm not spying," I said, shaking my head. "I was just filming the trees and maybe a squirrel or two. That's all I do. I like watching the footage later, seeing the leaves sway or a squirrel dart up a trunk. It's fun, not creepy." But Karen acted like I was some sneaky bad guy with a camera, peeking in windows or something. She crossed her arms again and glared at me, her red face getting even redder. "Don't lie to me." She snapped. "I've seen that thing buzzing around. It's dangerous and it's against the rules." I didn't know what to say. I just stood there, barefoot in the grass, feeling small. Karen's taller than me and she's loud, like really loud. I could hear her voice bouncing off the houses around us. I looked at my drone, sitting there all quiet, and wondered why she hated it so much. "It's just a toy. Most people in the neighborhood think it's cool." Mr. Jenkins even asked me to show him how it works once, but not Karen. She's always mad about something: grass, cars, kids playing, and now it was my turn to be her target. That's when my mom came outside. She must have heard all the yelling from the kitchen because she pushed open the back door and stepped onto the porch. She still had her gardening gloves on, with dirt smeared on her jeans from planting flowers earlier. Her hair was tied back and she had that look like she was annoyed but trying to stay nice. "Karen, what's going on?" she asked, walking over to stand next to me. Her voice was calm but firm, like she wasn't scared of Karen at all. I felt a little better with her there. Karen turned her glare to Mom, pointing at the drone again. "Your kid's breaking the rules," she shouted. That flying thing is a problem and I'm not putting up with it. Mom put a hand on my shoulder and looked at Karen like she was being silly. Karen, he's not breaking any laws, she said. It's just a toy. He's playing in our yard, not bothering anyone. Mom's voice was steady and she smiled a little, trying to keep things friendly. But Karen didn't smile back, not even close. She huffed a big loud puff of air and her face got all scrunched up. We'll see about that, she said like she was daring us to argue. Then she spun around, her flip-flops slapping the ground, and marched off toward her house. As she walked, she yanked her phone out of her pocket and held it up like it was a prize. I'm calling the cops, she yelled over her shoulder. You'll see. I watched her go, her yellow shirt bright against the green grass, and my heart started pounding. The cops, for real. I looked at Mom, my eyes wide. Is she serious? I whispered. Mom sighed and squeezed my shoulder. She's just mad, Jake, she said. Don't worry, she's not going to call the police over a drone. I nodded, but I wasn't so sure. Karen's the kind of person who loves making a fuss. She's yelled at people for way less than this. I thought maybe she was bluffing, just trying to scare me. I mean, who calls 911 over a kid's toy? That's crazy, right? So I picked up my drone and held it close, waiting for things to calm down. The sun was still warm, the day was still pretty. But now I felt nervous instead of happy. 10 minutes later, I was inside getting a glass of water when I heard something. A low rumble, then a flash of red and blue lights flickering through the window. I ran to look outside, my sneakers squeaking on the floor. Down the street near Karen's house, there was a police car. My mouth dropped open. She did it. She really called 911 on me. I saw her standing on her porch, arms crossed again, looking smug like she'd won something big. The lights flashed across the trees and my stomach flipped upside down. Mom came up behind me and peeked out too. Oh, for goodness sake, she muttered. She's ridiculous. But here's the thing, those flashing lights, they weren't just for my drone. Nope, something bigger was brewing, something Karen didn't know about yet. I could see two cops getting out of the car, their hats on straight, their faces serious. They didn't look like they were in a hurry, but they didn't look happy either. Karen was waving her arms, pointing toward my house, probably telling them all about the dangerous kid with the drone. But the cops weren't moving toward me yet. They were looking at her. And I had this funny feeling, deep down, that this wasn't going to go the way she thought. What was happening? Why were the cops really here? I didn't know yet, but I could tell something was up. Karen thought she was in charge, calling 911 like a big boss, but she had no clue what was coming. Stick around, this is where it gets good. Jake stood there, his heart beating fast. His drone was still buzzing in the air, high above the houses. Karen, the mean lady from down the street, was yelling into her phone like it was the end of the world. Yes, officer, there's a drone harassing me. She shouted, this kid's spying on everyone, you need to come quick. Her voice was loud, so loud it felt like the whole neighborhood could hear her. She sounded mad, like Jake had done something really, really bad. Jake's hands got sweaty. He held the little controller tight and tried to talk. I'm not spying, he said, his voice shaking a little. It's just a toy, I'm only having fun. But Karen didn't care. She didn't even look at him like he was telling the truth. Instead, she pointed her finger at him like he was some sneaky bad guy from a movie. You're a troublemaker, she yelled. I know what you're up to. Her face was red and her eyes were big and angry. Jake didn't know what to do. He just wanted to fly his drone and watch it zoom around. He didn't mean to make anyone mad. Up in the sky, the drone kept flying. It made a soft buzzing sound like a big bee. Jake decided it was time to bring it back home. He didn't want more trouble. He moved his thumbs on the controller, steering the drone toward his yard. The little screen on his phone showed what the drone's camera could see. It was cool. Houses, trees, and cars looked so tiny from up there. But then something weird popped up on the screen. Jake stopped moving for a second and stared. Down below, near the parked police car he'd seen earlier, two cops were stepping out. They had uniforms on, dark blue with shiny badges, and they looked serious. Jake squinted at his phone. The cops weren't just standing there, they were walking. And guess where they were going? Straight toward Karen's house. Jake's eyes got wide. "Wait a sec," he mumbled to himself. "Are they looking at her mailbox?" He tilted his head, trying to figure it out. The drone's camera zoomed a little closer, and sure enough, one of the cops stopped right by Karen's mailbox. He looked at it, then at a piece of paper in his hand. Jake's stomach did a flip. What was going on? Why were cops at Karen's house? He didn't know, but it felt like something big was happening. His drone kept flying and he kept watching. The cops were moving slow, like they didn't want anyone to notice them yet. One of them even looked around, checking the street. Jake's heart started beating even faster. This wasn't about him, was it? Back on the ground, Karen had no idea. She was still yelling into her phone, too busy to look anywhere else. "Hurry up," she told the 911 operator. "This kid's a menace. He's breaking all the rules." She waved her free hand in the air, pointing at Jake again. Her flip-flops slapped the grass as she paced back and forth. She was so mad she didn't even hear the soft sound of the cops' boots on the sidewalk. Jake could see them getting closer on his screen, but Karen, she was clueless. Jake swallowed hard. He didn't want to get in trouble, but he couldn't stop watching. The drone was his eyes in the sky, showing him things he'd never have seen otherwise. He moved it a little lower just to get a better look. The cops were almost at Karen's front yard now. One of them said something to the other, but Jake couldn't hear it. The drone wasn't close enough for sound. Still, he could tell they weren't happy. Their faces looked serious, like they had a job to do. Karen kept talking on her phone. "Yes, it's an emergency," she said. "This drone's flying over my house. It's not safe." She sounded like she was the boss of everything, like she always did. Jake had heard her yell before about grass, about dogs, about trash cans being too close to the curb. She was the kind of lady who made rules for everyone and got mad when they didn't listen. But now it looked like she was the one in trouble, and she didn't even know it. Jake's hands shook a little as he held the controller. He didn't mean to spy, he really didn't, but the drone was catching everything. The cops were right by Karen's driveway now. One of them pulled something out of his pocket. It looked like a little notebook or maybe more papers. Jake couldn't tell for sure, but it made him nervous. Why were they here? What did Karen do? His mind raced with questions. Karen finally stopped packing. She put one hand on her hip and glared at Jake again. "You're gonna regret this," she shouted at him. "The police are coming and they'll take that stupid toy away." She thought she'd won, like she always did. Jake wanted to say something back, but his throat felt tight. He just stood there, looking from her to his phone screen. The cops were so close now, almost at her front door. Jake's drone hovered above, watching it all. Then something clicked in Jake's head. The cops weren't here because of him. They couldn't be. They were already parked before Karen even called 911. That meant they came for something else, something about her. Jake's eyes got even wider. Was Karen in big trouble? Did she do something bad? He didn't know, but he couldn't look away. The drone kept filming and the cops kept moving. Karen turned her head a little, like she heard something. But she didn't see the cops yet. She was still too busy being mad at Jake. "You wait till they get here," she said, shaking her phone at him. "You'll see." Jake didn't say anything. He just watched his screen, holding his breath. The cops were steps away from her door now. One of them raised his hand, ready to knock. Jake's heart pounded so loud he could hear it in his ears. This was getting crazy. Jake didn't know what was about to happen, but he knew one thing: Karen's day was about to get a lot worse. She thought she was calling the police on him, but the police were already here and they weren't looking for a kid with a drone. They were looking for her. Jake's hands tightened on the controller. He didn't mean to get mixed up in this, but now he couldn't stop. Something big was coming, and his drone was right there to see it all. The air felt heavy, like a storm was about to break. Karen kept talking, the drone kept buzzing, and the cops kept walking. Jake didn't know what would happen next, but he had a feeling it was going to be wild. And you know what? He was right. Something bigger was brewing, and Karen was about to find out the hard way. Timmy stood by his window, his heart beating fast. He could hear the sound of a police car coming closer. Its red and blue lights flashed across the street, bouncing off the houses in Oakwood Hills. Timmy's drone sat on his desk, quiet now, but he couldn't stop thinking about what he'd seen on its video. Something big was happening, he could feel it. Outside, Linda, the mean HOA lady, was clapping her hands like she'd just won a prize. She looked so happy, like a kid who got candy. "See, kid, I told you," she shouted, pointing at Timmy's house. Her voice was loud and sharp, cutting through the air. She thought the police were here because of Timmy's drone. She thought she'd won. She thought she was the boss of everything. Oh, how wrong she was. Timmy's eyes got wide as the police car stopped. Its doors opened and two officers stepped out. They wore dark uniforms and serious faces. Linda grinned even bigger, bouncing on her toes. "Ha, you're in trouble now, Timmy," she yelled. But then wait a second, another police car pulled up. Its lights flashed too. And then, oh wow, a third one came. 3 police cars. Timmy's stomach did a flip. This was way too many cops for just a drone. Something wasn't right. Something big was going on. Timmy pressed his nose against the glass, watching. The officers didn't even look at him. Not one of them turned toward his house. Instead, they walked fast, really fast, straight to Linda's front door. Their boots made loud thumps on her porch. Linda's happy dance stopped. Her grin fell off her face like it melted away. She blinked, confused. "What's this about?" she said, her voice all shaky now. She didn't sound so tough anymore. The leader of the cops was a tall man with a deep voice. He had a serious face, like he never smiled. He held up a piece of paper in his hand and stared right at Linda. "Linda Grayson," he said, loud and clear. "We've got a warrant." Timmy didn't know what a warrant was, but it sounded important. The officer kept talking. "We've been watching you for weeks. That shed in your backyard, we know what's inside." Linda's face turned white, like all the color ran away. She looked scared now, really scared. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. She just stood there, frozen. Timmy's jaw dropped so low it almost hit the floor. What was happening? What was in that shed? He remembered the smoke he saw on his drone video. That stinky gray smoke sneaking out from under the door. His heart raced even faster. This was getting wild. The tall officer waved to the others. "Let's go," he said. The cops pushed past Linda like she wasn't even there. She stumbled back, her eyes big and round. They marched across her yard, heading straight for that old, rusty shed she always kept locked. Timmy had never seen anyone go near it before. Linda always yelled if kids got too close. Now the cops were going to open it. Timmy held his breath. What were they going to find? One officer, a strong guy with big arms, stepped up to the shed. He lifted his leg and boom, kicked the door hard. The wood cracked and flew open with a loud bang. Timmy jumped a little, surprised. Then whoosh, a huge cloud of thick, stinky smoke poured out. It smelled awful, like burnt rubber and old trash. Timmy wrinkled his nose, even from inside his house. The smoke floated up into the sky, dark and nasty. What was that? The officers coughed and waved the smoke away. Then they looked inside. Timmy couldn't see everything from his window, but he saw enough. There was stuff piled up in there, big stuff. Boxes and tubes and things that looked like fireworks, big ones, the kind that shoot way up in the sky and explode with bright colors. But wait, these weren't the little fireworks you buy for 4th of July. These were huge, dangerous ones, the kind you're not allowed to have, illegal fireworks. Timmy's mind spun. Linda had a shed full of illegal fireworks. No way, he remembered what his dad told him once. Fireworks like that can blow up a whole house if they go off. Timmy's eyes got even wider. Linda wasn't just mean, she was breaking the law, big time, and she'd been hiding it right there in her backyard, acting like she was perfect. The tall officer turned to Linda. "You've been storing these to sell, haven't you?" he said. His voice was hard, like a teacher catching you cheating. Linda shook her head fast. "And no, that's not true," she squeaked. But her voice sounded weak, like she knew she was caught. The officer didn't believe her. Neither did Timmy. Then it hit him, his drone, that little toy he'd been flying. It had seen everything. When Linda was yelling at him, the drone's camera was recording. It flew right over her yard and caught the